What is up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy Motor City Don P. We're back here once again. You already know what time it is. It is time to talk that talk and walk that walk and do that thing when we do that thing. Um, one thing's for certain and three things are for sure. When you see me in front of your TV, number one, the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. Number two, we came to give you stats and not none of that static. And number three, perhaps the most important number of them all, number three, you want to make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. You may be asking yourself, how, Don? How, Mr. P? Does one keep the Lions news pragmatic? Well, it's very simple. It's very easy. I'm gonna tell you. I'm not gonna hide it from you. That's not what I do. Smash like buttons, share. That's it. Share with your peoples. And once you've done these things, you've indeed kept the Lions news pragmatic. And when we talk about your peoples, since sharing is caring, once you have shared this stream with your mothers, your brothers, your fathers, your sisters, your cousins, your uncles, your brothers, your fathers, your sisters, your mothers, you name it. You name it. You have indeed cared about those people. What up, though, everybody in the chat? What up, though, everybody in Lions Land? What up, everybody who's there but just ain't chatting? Who's lurking? What up, though? I just okay. At some point in time, bro. At some point in time, we gotta do something different. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, astonished, shocked, I said shocked, to find out that in all likelihood, Levi Onwuzurike and Josh Pascal will be back on this team. I don't have a whole lot of words. I mean, I'm gonna find some. Let me read your comments because I need some time to process this. Sounds like DDI is coming back today. He probably will. Listen here, Marcus. Marcus has made some has had some bad luck, and we believe in Davenport. Brad Holmes' voice. What up, though, Jody? In my best Melvin Ignatius impersonation, facts. We will probably cut them after training camp. Waste of a roster spot, facts. Yeah, I can see you. I can see you. If one guy comes back, it's a fireable offense. Listen, I can't even be mad. I can't even be mad at any of this stuff. If we are mad at this point, shame on us. All right, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me a third time, you can't get fooled again. Shout out if you know, use the hashtag. I shout out Mr. Morale 313. I know he's not here at this point in time. But he sent me the Inside of the Den episode like 1 and 2. 1, 2, and 3 of Brad and Dan's tenure here. And I took it upon myself to watch almost every episode through the Broderick Martin draft. And what I found out more than anything is that Brad and Dan are on the ELE program. If you don't know what the ELE program is, it's just everybody loves everybody. They absolutely love everybody here. And it's not wrong, but it's wrong when it comes to the detriment of your team. Now, Levi Onwuzurike is $1.5 million. Josh Pascal is 1.7. So it's a total of 3.2 million, which isn't a large number, which isn't going to make or break your cap situation unless your cap situation is dire. And if you ain't got 3.2 million to work with at all, then you do something wrong. $3.20 is too much. Okay, $3.20 of cap space is too much for these two guys. And I don't want anybody to misconstrue what I'm saying, and because people will come in and be like, "Oh, you're attacking, you're a bad person." They, Motor City Don P says he hates Levi Onwuzurike and Josh Pascal, and he wishes nothing but bad on him. He's the player hater of the year. No. Personally, I don't know these guys. I don't know them personally. The biggest reason that we disagree with the things that Brad Holmes does is because they don't work. Okay? And I have to say this because there's a lot of people out there that don't seem to understand this. I was watching I think it's called First to the Whistle, Woodward Sports, their Sunday show. And if you guys don't know who Stick is a guy that will drink the bathwater of a Brad Holmes and a Dan Campbell. And what he will tell you is, shut up and be happy because we were 0-16 once. Shut up and be happy because sustained success is all that we need. And I said, my friend, I want to see a Super Bowl. And I think the vast majority of people that come in here and watch my show, shout out to you guys, all want to win a Super Bowl. We want to see our team win a Super Bowl. Hell, first thing we want to see is our team get to a Super Bowl. I would be happy if we got to a Super Bowl, whether we won it or not. Now, once you get to the Super Bowl, you want to win it. I would be happy to be able to say that my team is no longer one of those teams that has never been to a Super Bowl, or 4 teams. And every year we keep chugging along and not making it to the Super Bowl. Hell, people were even thinking that the Jaguars and the Texans, had a shot to get there this year. So one of them was going to make it 3. There's 2 original franchises, which are the Detroit Lions and the Cleveland Browns. And the last time we won a championship, we beat the Cleveland Browns ass, and that was like 1957 in the championship game. This is before it was called the Super Bowl. Not too many years before. I think the first Super Bowl was in 1965. Correct me if I'm wrong. So we almost, if we could have held out for 8 more years, we'd have been fine. And then there's 2 expansion teams. Actually, the Cleveland Browns technically are an expansion team because the original Cleveland Browns are now the Baltimore Ravens, and they've been to and won Super Bowls. Uh-huh. Right. Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl. Who was the other guy that they had? His name escapes me. I can see his face, but his name is escaping me right now. Somebody tell me in the chat. It wasn't Detmer, but it was one of those guys. So basically, 3 expansion teams and 1 original team. The Detroit Lions are that only original team that have been around since forever and have never been to a Super Bowl. So if I see them go to one, if I see Jared Goff or whomever sitting, at media row, being questioned about how he's going to perform in this game, I will be so excited. But we don't even have that. So for all of you fans out there that are like, "Oh, shut up. Yeah, the team yeah, okay, fine. Being 0-16 is just embarrassing. But you know what? That same year that we went 0-16, 31 other teams didn't win the Super Bowl. Or 30 other teams didn't win the Super Bowl. In fact, and I don't know if you guys know this, every year that the Lions don't go to the Super Bowl, 30 other teams didn't win it. So shut up and be happy because the team is decent now. And everything that Brad Holmes does is above reproach. Makes no sense because every year 31 teams fail. The difference between Brad Holmes' failures, Bob Quinn's failures, Matt Millen's failures, Martin Mayhew's failures, and the list goes on and on. The difference between all of their failures is actually nothing because none of them have gotten us to a Super Bowl. Not a single one of them. Whether you fail at 0-16 to win the Super Bowl or whether you fail at 16-0 to win the Super Bowl, you failed. And we can't even talk about winning the Super Bowl because we've never appeared in one. It's very simple, and I don't understand how some people don't understand it. Yeah, we're in the hunt. We're in the dance every year. We're in the hunt. We're Super Bowl contenders. Awesome. Awesome. And if you want to be the San Francisco 49ers, that would be great because the San Francisco 49ers have 5 Super Bowls already? Titles. They've got 5 Lombardis. And in this run with Kyle Shanahan, they've been to multiple Super Bowls. Haven't won them, but they've been to them. So if you say, okay, now if we are the Detroit Lions, if we are the San Francisco 49ers with Kyle Shanahan, you think people are looking at John Lynch like that draft pick you made was wrong? Mm-mm. And before I get into the draft aspect of this, I'm going to get your comments. If DDI comes back, I'm done with Ignatius. George W. Bush, facts. Everybody love everybody. Come on. More years to go. The W pronounced Dubwas. W. Made my own semi-pro edits. That's 3.2 wasted. Facts. It was time to move on from these two. It was. Appreciate you, Big Acapella. Stick drinking Melvin and Dan's bathwater is accurate. Would rather push the chips in and fail and have to tear it down than sustain success. Facts. Trent Dilfer, there you go. I guess the face was there. The first Super Bowl was in 1967. So we were 10 years. Okay. We needed to hold off for 10 years. We are the NFC equivalent of the Buffalo Bills. No, we're not. You know why? Because the Buffalo Bills have been to 4. They've been to 4. All right. The draft aspect. I was thinking about this. The funny thing is, I was thinking about this yesterday, even before I heard this news. The Levi Onwuzurike situation is not the Broderick Martin situation. The Levi Onwuzurike situation was a bad pick because Levi Onwuzurike had spinal fusion surgery in college. So he was already coming in with a pre-existing condition. Josh Pascal is just a miss. He's a miss. Okay, he had the malignant melanoma, which is a form of skin cancer that's, it's malignant, so it spreads. He beat it. Cool. His injuries that he's had in the NFL have not been cancer related. Okay? Josh Pascal, good dude, not a fantastic player. Serviceable, but should have never been a starter. So that's a miss. Every GM has misses. I'm not upset about a miss. But when you miss and then you go, well, we've got something here. Josh Pascal is better off playing on the inside. However, they put him on the edge. And in what did he play with the team? 3 years? Because he didn't play at all last season. Josh Pascal has 5 sacks in his career. The big end thing that they do with Marcus Davenport and people like Josh Pascal and then, Tyus Lacey and Aleem McNeil, it doesn't work. You can't get to the passer with those guys. Marcus Davenport used to be able to get to the passer, but if Marcus Davenport wants to keep getting NFL checks, Marcus Davenport can't go all out. And we saw that this year. We saw Marcus Davenport when he came back from the injury, which was damn near season ending, and he played in the last 4 or 5 games of the season. He was out there looking as though he didn't want to get hurt. That was his focus. If you're out there looking as though you don't want to get hurt, you can't be effective. Marcus Davenport, 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? Well, now it's 2 seasons ago, right? So Marcus Davenport, when we played the first game against the Rams, okay? Yeah, that was our 15-2 season, right? Okay. Marcus Davenport went all out. He had like 3 quarterback hits on Matthew Stafford. He had a half a sack. And then he missed game number 2. And then a freak injury in game number 3 put him out for the season. And we sit here and we talk about his injuries ad nauseum. And he listens to all the stuff that we say. And he knows that by his contract, when he got brought back on that contract, it was incentive laden. It was $4.75 million. He didn't hit the incentives. So he probably got paid near or a little bit more than the vet minimum. I'd have to look at the numbers on his contract and look at the percentages and see how many of the incentives that he did not hit. His incentives were availability-based incentives, and he missed the vast majority of the season on IR. So he comes back and he's ineffective. What strategy are you using where you continue to believe in and rely on injured players and players that are not effective? Go back and look at the Inside of the Den episode. Josh Pascal came in Brad Holmes' second draft. They asked him about how he was in the run game, and he told you, I think he said 95% or something, because the run game is what he does. Brother, you go back to the Buffalo Bills game of the season before last, of our 15-2 season. Buffalo being one of the two games that we lost. If you want to be technical, we probably should have been 16-1 that season because that Tampa Bay game was, blatant pass interference leading to an interception. Blatant, this dude just smashed Sam Laporta before the ball got there and ball got picked off. The referee didn't call it. Anyway. Oh, that's awesome. I love when that happens. My ring light just went out again. Josh Pascal missed a bunch of tackles that game. Throughout the season, Josh Pascal missed quite a few tackles. So if you're going to be out there and you're not a sure tackler in the run game, and you're not a rusher of any prolific measure, should you be getting 1.7 million? I mean, that's a depth contract, but a depth contract means that again, I'm fine with a depth contract, but it's like, okay, Josh Pascal is backing up Khalil Mack, Trey Hendrickson, Max Crosby, somebody in the draft that's effective. I'm naming names that that are well known just for you to get the point. Josh Pascal is backing up a guy that's a step or two lower than Aiden Hutchinson. Because God forbid you get the guy who's on the same level as Aiden Hutchinson. God forbid you get the guy that's one level above Aiden Hutchinson. No, you get the guy that's 5-6 levels below. And then Josh Pascal is 7 levels below. Right? So if Josh Pascal is 7 levels below Hutch, he should be maximum, I would say maximum let me say, he should be minimum 4 levels below the guy he's backing up. Because if he's 7 levels below Hutch and he's 4 levels below the guy that he's backing up, then the guy that he's backing up is just 3 levels below Hutch. Makes sense? I mean, I need, if you bring back Josh Pascal, and if you bring back Levi Onwuzurike, there needs to be there needs to be something. Some guy that you've brought in through the draft, through free agency, who makes a difference. I don't care if your contract told or not. I don't care if you have, the rights to the contract. Trade them. trade the rights to the contract, get a 7th round pick for both of them. Trade both of them to the same team for a 7th round pick. 7th round pick. I don't care. Because the fact that you are, and the reports are that it's gonna happen. Why? Levi Onwuzurike played one healthy season for the Detroit Lions. In 5 years, he had one healthy season. How can you not look at those 4 other seasons and say, yeah, maybe not? It's the principle. I don't care what he gives you when he's healthy. Because 4 out of 5 times, he ain't gonna be. Josh Pascal also missed the entirety of last season. Josh Pascal has also been in and out of the lineup, up and down, injury. I don't know. Am I making sense? I don't know. I don't even know if I'm making sense anymore. I don't even know if sense is what we're talking now. We're taking a DT round 1 bucket. See. Okay. And I've got something for you guys that we're gonna do. I don't know why Dan didn't come out and say Pascal had a back problem in the preseason instead of leading to the counter speculation by saying nothing. Facts. You think DDI knows about DDI name? LOL. He probably does. Was kind of fun telling the slappies I told you so on DDI. I mean, I didn't even have to tell anybody. I don't even know who. Yeah, they call them slappies for a reason. If you really thought that Marcus Davenport was going to be anything, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. You needed medication. I mean, if we start next season having to depend on Levi Pascal or any of the such, then Melvin has failed and should be fired. Facts. If one guy is re-signed, I am calling for the peace. At that point, the draft doesn't matter because he showed his hand. Facts. Brad don't know what he's doing, says Schiff. What up, though, Schiff? We always talking about if healthy. That's our slogan every year, it seems. Unfortunately, it just, yeah. You can trade them both for already true bubblegum. Something. Just get them out of here. All right, let me get this light back on and give you the free agent scenarios that we have. Give me 1 second. All right, that's not gonna work right now. I have to plug it into this base, and this thing has overheated crazy. So we'll move on, and we will get to all of this. All right, got some scenarios for you guys. Also, the mock machine is pretty much ready. I'm just doing some design revamps, and then I'll start rolling it out to the people. So, if you're in the Discord, keep your eye on the Discord. I will be dropping the site once it is up, and then asking you guys to go and uh, sign up and start tinkering. So, and then for those of you that want to stress test like tactical, you can hit me up and let me know what bugs that you find. And yeah, as I said, I got about 1 week to get it ready. After the Super Bowl, we go fully live. So yeah. Um, said sure, one injury riddled season. Sure, run it back, but two things need to change. Are you talking about Pascal? All right. All right. Here we have plan A, we have plan B, we have plan C. All right. Plan A, the aggressive Super Bowl window, which is trade heavy. Goal, use draft assets to acquire proven elite blue chip talent to immediately replace Taylor Decker and fix the defensive line. Okay. The trade target Rashawn Slater, left tackle Chargers. The logic with the Chargers potentially resetting under a new regime and Slater entering the final year of his deal, the Lions could pounce. Now, I don't know the likelihood of being able to trade for Rashawn Slater. I know he's dealt with injuries, but I don't think Mike McDaniel wants to come in and not have a left tackle. So I would immediately kind of poo-poo this one, but let's continue and see what else we got. The cost 2026 first round pick, number 17, plus 2026 fifth round pick. I don't know if I want to do that, but again, these are just scenarios, and you guys can tell me yay or nay in the chat if you agree or disagree or want to do it or not. All right. Then we move Penei Sewell to left tackle and install Slater as the elite right tackle or vice versa. This keeps Jared Goff's jersey clean for 17 games. Free agency. The partner in crime. Target, Odafe Owe, edge Chargers free agent. The structure, 4 years, $77 million. The trick, use an option bonus in year 2. Year 1 cap hit, $6.5 million. The impact, pairing Owe's speed with Hutchinson's power creates the most feared duo in the NFC North. Okay? Are y'all with me so far? Slater got paid and makes more money than Sewell. Right. So that's what I'm saying. It's risky, and I don't think that they would do it. I don't think you bring Mike McDaniel in and say, hey, let's now hamstring you and we got to get somebody else. Now, if you said, oh, we got to give up pick 17 to get Slater, well, I don't care about that because pick 17, depending on what gets done in free agency, needs to be probably a tackle or a center. What this doesn't do is it doesn't address the center position. So, what up, though, Brent DeWitt? Not in favor of moving Sewell. Why not? His original position was left tackle. Why exactly are you not in favor of it? McNeil makes more money than Sewell next year. Not after the restructure. Which part did you miss? I would leave it to Sewell. Well, if he wants to move, do it. If not, don't. Right. So I like the Owe thing. I mean, I'm obviously gonna like bringing in someone competent who could be there. I mean, just at this point, bring in David Ojabo, like because they played together at Michigan. This we gotta do something, bro. All I heard was Slater last year. Oh, okay. I want Sewell on the left. If we draft a tackle and plan on starting him, if we get a vet, yeah, leave him on the right. That makes sense. That makes sense. If you've got the experience, then you leave him where he's at. If you don't have the experience, then you need to move him to the left so that Jared Goff can be protected. All right, let's move on to Plan B. So I don't know. Give me your letter grades on Plan A. Again, I'll go back over Plan A. Okay, the highlights of this are trade for Rashawn Slater. You would need to give up pick number 17 and a fifth round pick. Um, then in free agency, you target Odafe Owe, 4 years, $77 million. You do an option bonus in year two. So the year one cap hit is $6.5 million. So what are your grades on that? If Decker says he wants to play, then then we keep that first round pick and we draft a center or we get a center in free agency. Um give plan A a C. I'm not giving up 17 for Slater. I give it a C. Not practical. Okay, cool. Um 1 second. All right, let's move on to plan B. All right. So plan B, we get our center in plan B. So we signed Tyler Linderbaum. He's a UFA in 2026. You make him the highest paid center in NFL history. The structure, 5 years, 90 million. I think you need to go up 5 years, 90 million. What would that be? I think you're not gonna get Linderbaum for less than 20 million a year. So I would say 5 years, 100 million. Um, and then you have a low cap hit because you do $30 million signing bonus plus 2 void years. Right. So You would replace Ragnow there. The safety signed Kyle Duggar, Steelers free agent. With Branch's return timeline uncertain, you need a thumper who can play both safety and nickel. The structure 3 years, $42 million a year, 42 million. Year one cap hit, 5.2 million. The impact, he starts alongside Kirby if healthy or slides into Branch's role seamlessly. I think Kyle Duggar's market value is like 14 million. So 3 years, 42 million is about right. So that's how we would address. So all of these things are just free agency because we don't know what's happening in the draft. So these are just free agency. Let me rephrase that. I'm not giving up 17 for Slater when the middle of our O-line is a disaster. That makes sense. I'm worried Decker will try one more year, even though his body is telling him otherwise, and MCDC will let him. I think you're gonna let Decker do you're gonna let him do it, right? If he says, all right, I want to come back, I want to play, then you're gonna say, okay, to Taylor Decker. I think he's earned that at this point, right? So I'm not really worried about it. It does help us. But again, what's your backup plan with that? Because you do have to have one. One second. Yeah, I think that thing is cooked. That thing is cooked. You like plan B better, it's a B plus. So getting Tyler Linderbaum and Kyle Duggar in free agency. So then you're left with pick number 17 to kind of do whatever you want. If you had Tyler Linderbaum next to Taylor Decker and Penei Sewell, well, they're not next to each other because they'd be next to the guards. But you wouldn't necessarily have to get a tackle in the draft, or not in the draft, but in the first round. But then also, my only question is this: if you and I would need to get like a bargain bin, not a bargain bin because that's Brad's specialty. Probably a mid-tier guard, right? If we got Tyler Linderbaum and then we got a mid-tier guard, and that's all we did in free agency plus Kyle Duggar, I think that would be awesome because then you're gonna do whatever you need to do in the draft. If you want to draft the left tackle of the future, you can. What I would do if we did that is I wouldn't draft the left tackle of the future with 17. I would then go for an edge. Because you got Tyler Linderbaum locked up. Tate Ratledge looks like he's gonna be fine at the guard position. So your left guard, you're gonna take care of that with a Kevin Zeitler type of deal or somewhere around there. You know what I'm saying? Somebody you can get for $9 million a year, or hell, go up to $12 million a year. And you get a guard, in that he may be older, whatever, but you're just kind of going, okay, next year we can address the guard position again with a first round pick or a second round pick. I would say you go tackle in the second round, defense in the first round. You might go ahead and get another safety in the fourth. Or if you're trading into the third, it's not going to be for a project pick. Not this year. It's not possible. If Brad manages to get a project pick in the third round this year, I'm gonna be so pissed off. Uh, but yeah. If the Ravens franchise tag Linderbaum, other teams can still make an offer. It depends on what type of franchise. If they do the exclusive tag, which is more expensive, then yeah, other teams can't do anything. If they just do the regular tag, then yeah, um, then he can negotiate with other teams. Yeah, Plan B is a B for me. Brad reminds me of Troy Weaver, solid drafter, but horrible in everything else. Yeah. In order of importance of our O line, is it center, both guards, and in last place is right tackle? Is LT, sorry. Is LT center, both guards, and I wouldn't say both guards are an order of importance. I think Tate Ratledge is going to be fine. Um, he did well, and he can continue to develop and get better throughout the season. So that's what you want to see from your second round pick. Um, Left guard again, no on Christian Mahogany right now. But then Christian Mahogany did look good next to Frank Ragnow. So if you put him next to Tyler Linderbaum, maybe. Miles Frazier, maybe. Who knows? But again, I'm what I'm tired of seeing Brad do. Okay. Again, if you guys don't remember this, Penei Sewell is the only first round draft pick that Brad Holmes has used on the offensive line. And it took him 4 years after that to use a second round pick on the offensive line. So it was Penei Sewell and Manu. Those were the Manu was like the second highest pick for the offensive line before we use a second rounder on Tate Ratledge. Manu, a fourth round pick that we use a third rounder to trade up into the fourth round for. Manu. That was it for Brad Holmes. He thought Colby Sorsdale was going to come in here and do something. Ratledge came into his own a little bit towards the end of the year. Right. Yeah, Ratledge was looking good. I was just stating order of precedence for our team. All right. What up, though, Lisa? Like overall for how our team plays. Got it. Well, he needs to draft another first round tackle if he wants golf to remain upright. Um, at some point he's going to need to, but I think with this plan B, Tyler Linderbaum, if you get Tyler Linderbaum, it makes a whole lot of things easier. Um, because he's literally the anchor of your offensive line. So now from right to middle, you're straight. You've got Penei Sewell, Tate Ratledge, Tyler Linderbaum. It's the left side with the guard, which is gonna it's the problem. It's the what if. And then you have Taylor Decker, who's solid, but what's his health looking like? So my only worry. So when I say that if you sign Tyler Linderbaum and then on the left guard position you get a middle of the pack guard. He doesn't have to be super stellar because obviously his job is going to be made easier by having Tyler Linderbaum. So he's going to look better than he is, right? If you don't draft a Kalen Proctor or someone like that at 17, what is then your backup plan for Taylor Decker? And that's the problem that scares me. what's your backup plan for him? You know what I mean? So, free agency is again, and I've gone over stuff with you guys about free agency. Um, money is not really a big issue, right? But I'm worried about what Brad does at left tackle to say, okay, Taylor Decker is going to give it one more shot, but he's going to be an injury risk because he always is. He's always injured. So that's what I would be worried about with Brad. Um, yeah, not what we need. Okay, I got you. All right, I would be very happy if the Lions acquire Linderbaum, but still want another tackle. We do need one. We do need one, but we also need an edge, and we're shoring up the safety situation with Kyle Duggar. Edge, I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do with that. Must have a backup plan for Decker going into the season. Without a backup plan, should be a fireable offense. Um, and I believe that Decker needs to make his intentions clear before the start of free agency. I know you needed to take some time away. Free agency starts what, in March? So you've got most of January, you've got all of February away. So you know what I mean? Just what are we doing? You got time. I like the guy from Iowa in round 3, Dunker. Um, Jennings Dunker. Well, if he's there in round 3, we're definitely gonna have to trade into round 3. Now, if you traded into round 3 to get a Jennings Dunker, then I would have, a little bit of faith would be restored. But all that, we draft football players, we don't draft positions, yada yada yada. That's, yeah, Kyle Duggar was in my free agency plan as getting a safety who's going to replace Brian Branch. The wall of mullet on the right side. Now, if it's round 2, yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. But again, yeah, okay. Yeah. No, Duggar. You talking about Decker. I said Duggar. I'm talking about the safety. Yeah. Kyle Duggar, not Taylor Decker. Dunker's footwork fails him against speedy pass rushers. I know when I was in the military, I told myself that the morning I wake up and say to myself, I can't do this anymore, I would drop my retirement pack that day, and I did. Um, I mean, that's basically what Taylor Decker said. You know what I mean? That's basically what he said. So, um, um, let me do this plan C right quick. Um, make a trade and then have a calculated vet. So for the center, you would sign Andre James, Raiders free agent. Andre James. Um, he's a steady top 12 center who won't break the bank like Linderbaum, but is a massive upgrade over um Graham Glasgow or a rookie. So now it says 3 years, 30 million. I would have to check his what you call it, his market value. And your cap hit would be 4.1 million. Now, here's the I don't know if I like this one. It says the safety trade for Buda Baker of the Cardinals. Arizona is in a full youth movement. Baker is a Pro Bowl leader who fits the Dan Campbell mold perfectly. The cost would be a 2026 fourth round pick and a 2027 fifth round pick. Then you would inherit his final contract year of 14 million, then immediately extend him with an option bonus to drop his 2026 hit to $6 million. Buda Baker is always rumored to be traded to us. And Drew might try to steal the moon and draft another tight end. Bruh. I don't want to draft the tight end. Who isn't a major upgrade over Graham Glasgow? Me. I can't play center. But I'm sure many people would be major upgrades over Graham Glasgow. All right. So while you guys mull over this, and I'll say it again after mailbag, what you want to do? What you want to do when they read and you cynics, niggas, mailbag. Get your mailbag questions in. Get them in. Bask in it. All right. So again, Andre James, center, Raiders free agent, trade for Buda Baker, a 2026 fourth round pick, a 2027 fifth round pick, and then work the contract magic to get his contract hit to $6 million for 2026. Yeah, I got what you were saying. Good on Buda Baker. I wouldn't mind Buda Baker, especially because we can get a manageable contract hit for him. As a replacement for Brian Branch. Wouldn't mind it. All right. Branch is gonna miss half the season. Half the season if we're lucky. you know, um, if we're lucky, it's half the season. It's looking like November. You know, and if we're talking about November, we're talking about towards the end of November. So that's why I said half the season if we're lucky. If we get Duggar and Branch comes back, we don't need a Meek. Um, no, we don't. Which I don't know, bro. I don't know if he's one of the guys now, so he'll probably get re-signed. He'll probably get re-signed. Well, hell, did they ever say if it was a full or partial tear for Branch? I'm guessing it was I never heard if it was full or partial, but I know he got surgery to repair it. So, we'll see how his rehab goes or is going. We'll probably get some updates at OTAs. Yeah. I wasn't sure if it's full or partial. Um, did they show replays of the calf muscle snapping back? All right. We got any mailbag questions? All right. Mailbag, do you think Dunker's footwork is fixable to help against speed rushers? I mean, you can coach up the footwork, but footwork is one of those things that is technique, and technique fails when you get tired, right? So it just depends on how reliable his technique becomes, you know? Technique can be coached, but what are you gonna do when you get tired and then you revert to the sloppiness, you know? What's his threshold for reverting back? You know what I mean? So I think it can be coached up. I think it can be developed because it's technique at the end of the day, but it's on him to keep going with it. So the answer to that question is no. Um the answer to that question is no. But I think if you do something in free agency, which is enough to plug in a lot of the holes that you have, and someone falls to 17 that he falls in love with, because all it does is, Brad Holmes has to fall in love with the player. Brad Holmes has to fall in love with him, and Dan Campbell has to fall in love with him. And that, that's it. That's all that needs to happen. So, um, and also he's got egg on his face because he went up to the podium like a dumbass and said, I don't know, sixth round. Sixth round. Is that enough? I don't know. Y'all been on my ass. Sixth round. For a guy that didn't play a single snap for you. So, I mean, just play nice and get us an edge. Also, I've seen somewhere that depending on how severe it was and which version of the surgery he had, that he could be back sometime near the start of the season. Yeah, I did a show on that talking about the type of surgery, but the fact is, we don't know what kind of surgery he did, right? We don't know what kind of surgery he did. So, if we somehow get that information, then we will know. Um, if they don't tell us before free agency, and you do see a move like signing Kyle Duggar, then you know that he's going to miss most of the season. So if they're not going to be forthcoming with the information, then we will have to look at their moves, free agency and the draft. Is that good enough? I don't know. I don't know. Six round. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Appreciate y'all for stopping by for a drinking conversation once again. I'm gonna try to get this ring light fixed. Um, I don't know if it's cooked or the base is cooked. We'll have to see which one it is. All right, we will be back here tomorrow. Once again, the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. We came to give you stats and not none of that static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your lines news pragmatic. And we are out. Peace. And I know ain't nobody watching the Pro Bowl.